Hi, my name's Glenn Hasselman. I'm just making this video for the free accounting software users to show you guys how to set up leave entitlements for your employees using free accounting software. Now this is something that can only be done if you have a BASF hosted file. It can't be done with a local free accounting software file. BASF is not free, but it's a pretty low cost. So if you want this feature, you can upgrade. Okay, so I've set up a organization called Leave Demo 2, and I'll just show you how the leave is set up there. So we've got under the setup this option called leave types, and I've just set up one leave type. You can set up as many as you like. The name, I've called it annual leave, and display on Payslip I've set to yes. If you have something like sick leave or personal leave, some people don't like to display that on the Payslip because they think it might encourage people to take it as soon as it accrues. But you know, if the employee wants to know what their entitlement is, you have to tell them anyway, so you might as well probably just put it on the Payslip. But it does allow you to hide it on the Payslip. It's not a legal requirement to put leave entitlements on Payslips. Okay. The accrual, you need a tax code and an expense account. So this is so that when the software accrues the leave entitlement, it can debit the expense and credit the provision. So taxes in free accounting software are not just for things like GST or pay-as-you-go. It's actually things like provisions as well, like superannuation payable or in this case leave entitlements. So I've got a tax code set up called annual leave entitlement, and I'll show you how that's set up in a moment. Got an expense account called annual leave expense. I'll also show you that. It's pretty standard. The category is annual leave. So you can set up the main categories. The software can do the RDO as well. And if you've got something that's unusual, well, there's a few other categories there that you can use as well. The accrual scale for annual leave is 20 days per annum, and there are a couple other accrual scales for things like personal leave or long service leave. If they don't suit you, you can leave that blank and then put in the accrual rate over here, and that is the rate of accrual on just hours per hour, or you know, the number of hours per year, the number of hours to accrue per year divided by the total number of hours in the year, that kind of thing. So, okay, now I'll show you the setup of the tax codes. So there's annual leave taken, there's annual leave entitlement. First, the entitlement, which is the one that was on the leave type setup. Active is true, classification reference is a liability, and the important thing is this leave category is annual leave. When you're accruing annual leave, you don't put it on the BAS or payment summary. That's when you pay it. So this on the right hand side is all not applicable. There's another tax code called annual leave taken, to be used when the employee takes annual leave. And that percentage tax rate is 100%. So when they take leave, we want the whole lot coming out of the provision. It's a liability, and the leave category is annual leave as well. So it's important to get this leave category correct on these tax codes. In the case of annual leave taken, it will get reported on the BAS, and the single touch payroll lodgement, formerly called the payment summary. I'm still calling it payment summary over here. Okay, a quick look at the accounts. So annual leave expense, which is the expense account that was used on the leave type setup, is just set up as a standard expense account. The default tax code is annual leave entitlement, and actually this field is important. The payment deduction type should be leave expense, okay, bracket not leave taken. So that's just so the taken will have a different the account used for the annual leave taken will have a different value here, and that's for when it's displayed on the payslip. In the different sections of the payslip, different accounts are allowable for selection. If you don't get this payment deduction type correct when you do your payslip, that leave expense will not be available to choose. Anyway, it's automatically chosen for you, but it'll end up blank. Okay, the other one is annual leave taken, and it's set up as an expense account. That's almost irrelevant because it's 100% tax on the provision here on the tax code. So it's the net amount that goes to the account, which is going to always be a 0. Anyway, so the default tax code is annual leave taken, and the payment deduction type is earnings bracket including leave taken. So I've tried to be pretty clear with where to put your leave in this, or which one to select in this payment deduction type for leave. The normal rate multiplier is 1, so when you pay a person annual leave, they're getting it at 1 times their normal rate of pay per hour. Okay, a quick look at the employee setup. So going into counterparties, double clicking on the employee, and clicking to payroll details first, and then there is a link to leave entitlement. You can add multiple leave entitlements for, in fact, if you have different types of leave for each, if you have different types of leave, they will all be displayed here, and you can go into them by double clicking on them and set a service start date. That is the only field we really need to know, and basically the main thing here is by giving it a service start date, it is making that employee entitled to that leave type. If you click delete and delete this service start date, then the employee will no longer be accruing that type of leave. Okay, now let's go and have a look at the payslip where the magic happens. Okay, I've put a few payslips through already. So in this batch, week ending 5th of April, we have a payslip there. Let's double click on it, and down the bottom here, we've got a leave accrual section. It's got annual leave expense as the account, tax code is annual leave entitlement, and the quantity it's accrued is 0.615 etc. hours, an amount of $18.46. It has a closing quantity and closing amount as well. And in fact, the way this leave is calculated is it will take the previous closing quantity, it will add the accrual, and then it will calculate the new closing quantity. We'll then multiply it by the normal rate of normal rate of pay to get the closing amount, and the difference becomes the amount accrued. And that's just a little bit more robust than just calculating these figures and adding, in particular if there was a pay rise during the week. This will pick it up. So you might find that for example, if you can't edit that normal rate of pay there, but if you had increased the employee's rate of pay, it would flow through to here. Anyway, let's do a new payslip so we can see this in action. Just remembering that the closing quantity is sort of roughly 28 and the closing amount is 842. So we can go to the batch list, add a new batch. Going back to April. So I think we paid up to there, so we'll just sort of pay the next week, let's say. Payday 14th. From the 6th to the 12th. And new payslip. Select our employee. Normal time, let's say they worked a 38-hour week. Okay, so it's accrued 2.9230 blah 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 hours at a cost of $87.69, and the new closing quantity is 31 hours. Closing amount is $930. Okay, we would normally just save that, and let's actually have a look at the payslip. Okay, I'll just zoom in. So over here on the right hand side of the payslip, we have leave entitlements, annual leave, hours 31.02, and the amount is displayed there. Okay, hopefully that's enough to get you started with setting up leave entitlements for your employees. I'll probably do another video, perhaps on RDO or something like that. But yeah, I hope it's been useful for you, and thanks for watching.